Today's leading news program with Jim Gardner.
You get to be the pilot of a medical helicopter for a reason, because you're good. And today, a pilot avoided power lines, a church, pedestrians, and homes. That as he did his best to maneuver his chopper in for a crash landing. And the 2-month-old on board, plus the crew, well, they avoided serious injury. It is Tuesday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is what officials in Drexel Hill are calling a miracle. Action News reporters Dan Cuellar and Bob Brooks are both at the crash site right by the United Methodist Church. Dan, let's start with you. Exactly what happened?
Well, Jim, it's still unclear tonight why the chopper went down less than 5 minutes from its scheduled arrival at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia with a 2-month-old patient on board. But the pilot tonight is being hailed as a hero. The incredible scene at Beaumont and Bloomfield shows the Flight Net 81 medical helicopter sitting on the front steps of the Drexel Hill United Methodist Church. Witnesses flooded the 911 system just before 1 with word of a helicopter in distress.
The calls continued, and it was that a helicopter was near crashing. And they could tell that by the height that the helicopter was dropping rapidly.
The medical helicopter out of Hagerstown, Maryland, was en route from Wellspan Hospital in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, en route to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia with a 2-month-old baby girl on board. Also on board was the pilot and 2 crew members.
Our reports indicate that he first started to experience some trouble on Route 1 and was looking for somewhere to land and was able to bring it down Beaumont.
Neighbor Lisa Smith says she was startled when she heard what sounded like an explosion.
The noise was so loud and different from anything I've ever heard. I thought it was a bomb. I really did.
And there were people climbing out from the top of the helicopter. It was very scary.
After crash landing in front of the church and aviation fuel spewing out of the chopper, the pilot and crew were able to get out safely and pull the 2-month-old girl out of the wreckage.
The injuries were non-life-threatening. Yes, okay, exactly. Wow. So it's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle.
We are totally blessed. Because there were no injuries, that helped us concentrate on making sure there were no structural damage and no fire started.
The pilot was being lauded for how he was able to bring the chopper down in a highly populated area with no loss of life in the chopper or on the ground.
It's really a testament to the pilot and what he was able to do in keeping everyone safe.
Back live here in front of the Drexel Hill United Methodist Church, where the EC-135 helicopter remains on the ground. A large crane has arrived on the scene along with a tractor-trailer rig that will eventually take the aircraft to an NTSB facility for investigation. In Drexel Hill, I'm Dan Cuellar, Channel 6, Action News.
Thank you, Dan. Also there is Action News reporter Bob Brooks. Bob, you have spoken to an expert. You have spoken to a witness. Both had compelling things to say.
Jim, they did. The flight expert I talked to, said everything this pilot did was incredible. Where he took this chopper down out the way he did, it all makes sense. And because of that, everyone on board is alive. Also, the witness I spoke to who ran in to help, she was there when this 2-month-old infant got brought out. Cell phone video captures the first few minutes after impact. The helicopter is still smoking, and one of the first few people at the scene was Upper Darby High School student Emma Gray.
I was in a lift, and I live right around the corner from where it happened.
As she rode by in the lift, she heard the crash.
We had this big boom, and there was a helicopter. Part of it was on fire. It was spewing jet fuel.
She says both she and the driver got out to help and never expected what was about to happen.
These guys start coming out of it, and they're like, can't remember exactly what they said, but they were like, someone come help us, there's someone trapped underneath. They were like, here, take this, to my Lyft driver, and it was a baby.
And tried her best to calm the pilot.
I was able to kneel down beside him and say, like, hey man, I called 911, help is on the way.
And according to experts, the reason why everyone was able to make it out alive, the pilot's quick actions.
The pilot's a hero, and it really boils down to that.
Tonight we spoke with former Navy pilot John Gagliano, who also holds the FAA's highest pilot rating. He says when an aircraft begins to go down, it's up to the pilot and their training.
The first thing you need to do is figure out what the problem is, and then you need to see if there's a checklist to deal with it.
He also says given where it went down near power lines, there likely wasn't much time to react.
You can kind of make that logical jump, and you can infer that they didn't have much time to deal with whatever emergency they were dealing with.
And Jim, back out live here, John Gagliano says when you see a scene like this, everything he knows about flying. It never ends well. However, this one did, and that is a testament to how talented and the quick thinking that the pilot was on board. What he did here saved everyone's lives. For now, reporting live in Drexel Hill, Bob Brooks, Channel 6, Action News. Jim.
Thank you, Bob. Philadelphia police say 2 people were killed tonight and 4 injured in separate shootings across the city. The latest shooting happened at 9 o'clock in West Philadelphia, where 2 people were also injured. An hour before that, police say a man was killed in Tioga Nicetown. And at 7:30, 1 person was killed, 2 others were shot in Mayfair. Philadelphia authorities now say 9 children, not 8, died in last week's row home fire in Fairmount. 3 adults were also killed when investigators say a Christmas tree went up in flames. It happened last Wednesday on the 800 block of North 23rd Street. Today, investigators said that they believe a lighter is what set the tree ablaze, and they say that a 5-year-old boy was the only one nearby. Investigators say aside from that boy, the only other survivor was a man who jumped out a 3rd-floor window.
There was 0 visibility. High heat, and by high heat, I'm talking about 900 to 1,000 degrees at the ceiling.
Investigators said 1 of the 6 smoke detectors in the home was working, but it was located in the basement and went off way too late. This is the aftermath of a house fire tonight in Levittown, Bucks County. Officials say the blaze tore through a home in the unit block of Round Hill Road at 6:30 tonight. Half the home was destroyed. Fortunately, nobody was hurt. Not only was this the coldest day of the year, it was the coldest day in 3 years, and we could be in for a day that is even colder. The latest from AccuWeather and meteorologist Cecily Tynan.
And Jim, hard to believe we have an Arctic blast on the way. By the weekend, that's going to be even colder than today. The high in Philadelphia, only 27 degrees. That's 14 degrees below average. The coldest day since February 1st, 2019. And this is more typical of north central Maine this time of the year, with temperatures only in the 20s. And of course, you factor in the winds. The wind chills never climbed out of the teens. Right now, temperatures have bottomed out. 22 degrees in Philadelphia, Allentown 9, Trenton 15. The Poconos 8, but we've got a wind that's generally out of the south. So that means temperatures actually will be going up a little bit overnight. Still going to be a cold morning commute, just not quite as brutal as this morning. Take the sunglasses in addition to the winter coat. We'll have a lot of sun glare. The suburbs about 15 degrees, Philadelphia 25, and then temperatures rebound pretty nicely the next 2 days into the 40s with a lot of sunshine. Don't get used to it. We've got another Arctic blast moving in on Saturday, and then a possible nor'easter Sunday into Monday. I'll talk more about that coming up in the AccuWeather 70 forecast. Jim.
Thank you, Cecily. Icy conditions are being blamed for 4 separate accidents along Kelly Drive tonight about 7 o'clock in Fairmount Park. Police closed the road between Hunting Park Avenue and Strawberry Mansion Drive to salt the surface. COVID-19 cases still exploding across the United States. The country is seeing an average of more than 750,000 new cases a day. That is a more than 6-fold increase compared to just a month ago. Yesterday, the U.S. recorded a single-day high of more than 1,400,000 new cases. But scientists are seeing signals that this wave may be about to peak. The University of Washington model projects that the number of daily cases in the U.S. will crest by next Wednesday and then will fall dramatically. In Delaware County, all services at Springfield Hospital's emergency department will be temporarily suspended starting Friday because of staffing issues. The hospital will instead deploy remaining staff to other area hospitals. Meanwhile, the Wolf administration said today it has no plans to impose new statewide restrictions in Pennsylvania. It is instead encouraging vaccines for fighting the spread of COVID-19. In New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy reinstated the state's public health emergency today. That allows the mask mandate in schools and daycare centers to remain in effect. Delaware reinstated the indoor mask mandate today. This applies to stores and gyms, restaurants, bars, and malls. Governor John Carney said today plans for a large-scale testing event with FEMA will be announced soon. Still to come on Action News tonight, what a new study says about how long COVID can live in the air. Plus, the search is on for the suspect who vandalized a statue in Philadelphia. President Biden heads to Georgia to make his biggest push yet for national voting rights bills. Cecily Tynan returns with more from AccuWeather. Deuces Rogers with an Eagles update when Action News continues tonight. Philadelphia police are searching for the suspect who toppled a statue outside the Buddhist Association of Philadelphia in Spring Garden. Video shows the man using his body to rock the statue back and forth before it finally falls to the ground and breaks. This happened Sunday. Police say the same man actually tried to damage the statue the day before, but was unsuccessful then. President Biden has made clear his support for changing filibuster rules in the Senate if it means passing voter rights legislation. The president and Vice President Harris went to Georgia today to press for 2 voting rights bills. 19 Republican-led states have already approved voting restrictions based on the falsehood that the last election was ripe with fraud and stolen from Donald Trump. Biden today called the state-by-state restrictions Jim Crow 2.0.
I believe that the threat to our democracy is so grave that we must find a way to pass these voting rights bills. Debate them, vote, let the majority prevail.
But as long as the filibuster stands, the majority isn't enough. Technically, legislation needs 60 votes in the Senate, but even changing the filibuster rules might be beyond reach, as long as West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin maintains his opposition to fooling with the filibuster. On Health Check at 11 tonight, a new study finds COVID-19 loses 90% of its ability to infect us within 20 minutes of becoming airborne, and most of the loss happens within the first 5 minutes. Researchers at the University of Bristol developed apparatus that mimics what happens when we cough or breathe. They found that viral particles rapidly lose water and dry out, disrupting their ability to infect human cells. They say the particles dry out faster in lower humidity. The temperature of the air made absolutely no difference. The chairman of the Federal Reserve acknowledged today to the Senate Banking Committee that the Fed may have to raise interest rates even faster than current plans call for. Jerome Powell warned that high inflation could make it more difficult to restore the job market to full health. Raising interest rates would restrict runaway growth by slowing borrowing and spending, said Powell. If we have to boost interest rates more, we will. Cecily Tynan with a late word from AccuWeather.
And Jim, going to try to warm things up a little bit over the next 2 days before we cool down again heading into the weekend. Let's go live on Sky 6, taking a look at Ben Franklin Parkway. The flag's not blowing all that much. We've got winds right now out of the south at 7 miles an hour, so they've shifted direction and they've really calmed down from earlier today. Sky 6, taking a look at Commodore Barry Bridge. We have clear skies out there, and temperatures really are not going to be dropping much at all from where they are right now. Currently, Philadelphia 22, Allentown 9, Trenton 15, and Millville 13. Tomorrow morning, temperatures will be climbing through the 20s pretty quickly in the morning hours and then up into the low 40s by the afternoon. Compared to today, with temperatures up in the 20s, it's going to feel quite a bit better. Satellite and radar showing clear skies out there. High pressure, Arctic high pressure brought us the bitter cold, but what that high pressure is doing, it's beginning to move to the east. So that brings us the return flow out of the south. Still going to be a cold at the bus stop in the morning. The hats and gloves a good idea. The suburbs 15, Philadelphia 25, but we won't have the wind chills in the single digits like this morning. Tomorrow, enjoy it. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures near normal, about 2 degrees above normal. 43 Philadelphia, Allentown 37, Cape May 43, and Wilmington 42 degrees. Heading into Thursday even a little bit warmer, up to 47 degrees. That's 6 degrees above average with clouds and some sunshine, but then another front brings us much colder air right in time for the weekend, and Arctic high pressure again. And what this will do, it sets the stage for a possible nor'easter. The cold air is here. The question, how much does it stay in place? And that low, how close to it does it get? Does it move right over us? It's a little bit offshore. Is it inland? That will determine if we're talking about heavy snow, some rain or icing. At this time, too early to tell. We're 5 days away. We've got a lot of information, and we will keep you posted as we get closer. So the exclusive AccuWeather 7-day forecast, a rapid rebound tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, chilly in the morning, 43 by the afternoon. Thursday, not a bad day, 47. On Friday, this is when things begin to change. We hit a high of 40 early, then temperatures dropping, and Saturday even colder than today, 24 degrees. Sunday still cold, 30 degrees, increasing clouds. Sunday into Monday, Martin Luther King Day of Service, looking like that possible nor'easter. Could be a pretty significant storm. The question is the exact track. We'll let you know. 38 degrees, and Tuesday partly sunny with a high of 38 degrees. We're getting in a lot of new computer information overnight on that possible nor'easter, and of course Karen will have the latest on Action News at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Jim.
Thank you, Cecily. A new statue honoring Harriet Tubman now stands outside Philadelphia City Hall. City officials unveiled a 9-foot-tall bronze sculpture today. The traveling monument is called the Journey to Freedom, and it represents Tubman's efforts to free hundreds of enslaved people by way of the Underground Railroad. It'll remain on display through March. Jimmy Kimmel Live coming up at 11:35 right after Action News, and here is Jimmy with a preview of tonight's show.
Thanks, Jim. Why are you leaving the 11 o'clock news? Are you mad at me? Did I do this? Don't answer. I'm on tape. Just know that I will miss your mustache and the rest of you, too.
A South Philadelphia dry cleaners has been working hard to keep the Eagles looking fresh ahead of Sunday's game against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lynn's Cleaners is responsible for cleaning the team's jerseys. Did you know that? The uniforms were shipped down to Tampa today after each garment was soaked, washed, and scrubbed multiple times. Sounds like exactly what you do with your casual wear, right?
Something like that, Jim.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have some free time, so maybe you can come over to the house and do some of that.
Absolutely not.
Didn't think so. Let's go ahead and talk about the Eagles. It would certainly be an upset, but it's not impossible. The Eagles are capable of going on the road and beating the Bucs, but it will not be easy. Containing Tom Brady will be key. He did beat the Birds here back in Week 6. Since then, Brady has lost 2 of his top receivers in Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. Despite that, Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon knows the Bucs are still talented.
They've adapted and adjusted with the people that they have, and they're, top in the league, and that's for a reason, because they make good adjustments and they're on the same page and they execute at a high level.
The last 2 Giants head coaches lasted just 2 seasons, and now Joe Judge suffers the same fate. He has been fired. In 2 years under Judge, the Giants went 10-23. No Flyers Hurricanes highlights to bring you tonight since the league postponed the game. Between yesterday and today, the Flyers added 2 defensemen to the COVID list, Rasmus Ristolainen and Justin Braun. Claude Giroux has come off the COVID list. He missed the past 3 games. Hopefully his presence can help end a 5-game skid. G knows it might take him a little bit of time to get his legs back.
One more practice wouldn't hurt, but when you don't do anything for 5-6 days, it's kind of tough to get back into practice. But today was a good practice, so and it's good that we have another one tomorrow.
College basketball, Aaron McKee has rejoined Temple's basketball program. He missed the past 2 games due to COVID protocols. The Owls will visit Tulsa tomorrow. LaSalle and St. Bonaventure tonight. The Explorers trying to snap a 3-game skid, pick it up in OT. Dominic Welsh hits a huge 3 late. The Bonnies win 80-76. Delaware makes a short trip to Drexel. The Dragons trail by as many as 22 points. They cut it to 4 here in the second half with this Matej Juric bucket. But Delaware senior guard Ryan Allen scores 23 points off the bench on 10 of 18 shooting. The Blue Hens hold on for the 81-77 victory. That's a look at sports. Jim, back over to you.
Thank you, Deuces, and we'll have more Action News when we come back in just a minute. So this is my final broadcast as anchor of Action News at 11. It has been a pretty long run that began on May 11th, 1977, One of the big stories that night was the SEPTA board voting to raise fares on city buses and trolleys and subways from 35 to 45 cents. The Phillies lost to the Giants 4-2, and Houston beat the Sixers 118 to 94. Full disclosure, I didn't remember those things. I looked them up. That was about 16,500 11 o'clock newscasts ago. And our goal for each one was the same as tonight's, to present a responsible, accurate, thoughtful, and compelling account of the day's happenings. I have loved anchoring the 11 o'clock news for 4.5 decades. For me, this newscast has been a perfect meld of local news, which is our priority, and what is happening as seen through a wider lens on the national and international front. But I came to understand a long time ago that if we want to know what people everywhere are thinking, we can often find out by looking no further than at our own communities, our own school boards and city and town councils, our nonprofit organizations, our law enforcement agencies, business communities, our colleges and universities, our union locals, and houses of worship. That's what we have tried to do, I hope with some success. It is my earnest hope that Action News at 11 has provided useful information from the very start of the COVID-19 phenomenon, that we have informed, but also that we have helped you navigate the often confusing and sometimes controversial pathways leading to your efforts to protect yourself and your loved ones. This has been and continues to be a story like no other. Nobody is more grateful than I for the unique relationship between Action News and you, our viewers. In a sense, we made a bargain long ago. We give you our respect and commitment to honest and fair reporting, and you give us your trust. And I can't help but feel that that happens here in a way that is more authentic and even more intimate than anywhere else. Everybody at this television station cherishes that, and no one more than I. And certainly no one more than Rick Williams, who will sit in this chair and join Cecily and Deuces starting tomorrow night. You need not be told that Rick is an extraordinary broadcast journalist. You already know that. He will preside over the best days of this newscast that are yet to come. And he will rely on two remarkably talented individuals, producer Laura Mamarella and executive producer Matt Dennis. They are superb at their jobs and make an anchor's participation in the process of getting this newscast on the air every night nothing less than a joy. Several other individuals need mentioning. Dan Cuellar has given his talent for storytelling to this newscast every night for decades. If our 11 o'clock news is consistently excellent when it comes to covering local and breaking news, nobody is more responsible for that than Dan. Former executive producer Rick Williams, no relation to the next anchor of this broadcast, gave his heart and soul to Action News at 11 for a generation. He and producer Matt Szymanski formed a powerful partnership, and their intelligence, their judgment, and their devotion made us immeasurably better every night. Oh, by the way, the efforts of all these people wouldn't have mattered much if not for the outstanding work of director Mike Katz, who, after all, puts us and keeps us on the air. I am blessed to be able to work with Cecily and Deuces for another year at 6 o'clock. We respect each other, we care about each other, and I think we're a pretty good team. And on this occasion, I'm also thinking of two people who have left their handprints on this broadcast and on my heart. Gary Papa and Dave Roberts. Even as he approached death, Gary was larger than life. As for Dave, whom I consider a dear friend, I have continued to feel his presence and benefit from his guidance every night. And thank you for allowing me into your home so late at night for the past 45 years. I have never taken your hospitality for granted, and I'm looking forward to continuing to share dinner time with you for the next year. My main wish for the next year, to see this pandemic retire before I do. Let's hope. Jimmy Kimmel Live next on Channel 6, followed by Nightline. Jimmy's guest tonight, Jim Gaffigan, Ann Dowd, and music by Ryan Hurd. Action News continues at 4 a.m. with Tamala Edwards, Matt O'Donnell, and meteorologist Karen Rogers. For Cecily Tynan, Deuces Rogers, Rick Williams, the entire Action News team, I'm Jim Gardner. Good night.